Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the number to reach me this hour, 800-848-9222. Dominic Carter here with you. And by now, I'm sure you have heard the news of the day, and that is Iran just crossed every red line one can imagine. On their state television, they broadcast an image of President Trump with the Persian caption, quote, "This time the bullet won't miss." Folks, this is an open official death threat against the President of the United States. 800-848-9222. The ICE agent who fatally shot Renee Good on January 7th in Minneapolis, Jonathan Ross, turns out he suffered internal bleeding to the torso following the incident. And this is big news because, remember, there are so many people that say the vehicle did not touch him at all. So, again, he suffered internal bleeding to the torso, and that's based on two U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition. This, as President Trump, speaking to CBS, is speaking out, and her father is also speaking out. That is the father of Renee Good, and he is not blaming the ICE agent involved. We'll be starting with your telephone calls momentarily. This is President Trump sitting down with CBS News talking about the Renee Good case.
The death of Renee Nicole Good. I've been speaking to her father, who is a big supporter of yours, like many Americans are, but he's heartbroken right now.
I can understand that.
He's heartbroken because his daughter is dead. That's obvious. He's also heartbroken because your administration so quickly has come out and said she's a domestic terrorist. What do you want to say to her father right now?
Well, I want to say to the father that I love all of our people. They can be on the other side. As you say, he might be on my side.
He is on your side.
And I think that's great. And I do. I think it's great. And I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person. But, you know, her actions were pretty tough. I mean, I've seen it many ways and many different shapes and forms. But the bottom line is, look, we have hundreds of thousands of murderers in our countries, killers. ICE is trying to get them out. They were let in through an open border policy of Sleepy Joe Biden. ICE is working very hard to get them out. Their job is being made very, very difficult. And, you know, when you look at that tape, it can be viewed two ways, I guess. But when you look at the way that car was pulled away, there are a couple of versions of that tape that are very, very bad.
And the tape is indeed bad, as the president just indicated. In a moment, we'll be starting with your telephone calls. I'll begin with Joe in North Bergen in just a moment. But the father of Renee Good sat down with CNN, and I found it remarkable that this father, he's not putting the blame on the ICE agent.
No, nothing about charges or anything like that, just an investigation into what happened in terms of the ICE agent's actions. But they were, according to the prosecutors resigning today, pressuring them to investigate Renee's actions and Becca, her wife's actions. How do you feel about all that?
Well, you know, I'm not blaming anybody. I mean, it's a hard situation all the way around. It's hard for for everybody involved. I mean, the ICE agent, at first I didn't see the footage where, he was actually, he was actually being ran. I mean, I seen the bump of the car hitting his legs. And so in a flash like that, it's hard to say how you would react. From my understanding that he had been through that before, maybe dragged or something. And so, like I said, it's just a hard situation for everybody. Becca, she's a great person as well. I mean, I don't have any enemies. I love everybody, and that's what the Bible tells us: love our neighbors as we love ourselves. But I think there's some bad choices, and the word says, "For the wrath of God will come upon the children of disobedience." And it's I don't blame Ice, I don't blame Rebecca, I don't blame Renee. I just wish that if we're walking the Spirit of God, I don't think she would have been there. That's the way I look at it.
And that is the father talking to CNN. Again, not placing blame on the ICE agent. 800-848-9222. Let's begin with Joe. Line 1, North Bergen. Joe, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. Dominic, President Trump sued Stephanopoulos and won, ABC.
Sure did.
Can he sue Mark Ruffalo for Mark Ruffalo called him a rapist and a pedophile. Could he sue him for that? No. He did?
No, I'm saying he should fall. Go ahead, Joe.
No, that's all. I was just wondering. I thought maybe you knew. I don't know if there's a difference between saying it on, a network show versus someone sticking a microphone in your face. I thought maybe you would know. I mean, he's disgusting.
Well, the president has the option of suing. And who knows what he's going to do. But if he sues Ruffalo, he's got to sue half of Hollywood. But it was despicable what Mark Ruffalo said. The president was not convicted of rape. He was convicted of sexual assault. The president, there's never been any allegation of him being a pedophile. So he could sue, and, we will just have to wait and see what happens. I'm sure that the president's team is completely aware of what was said, and it's a matter of what he's going to do. But, Joe, thank you for the great question. 800-848-9222. In keeping with President Trump and Iran, despicable that Iran issuing the statement, broadcasting that image of the president with the caption, the Persian caption, "This time the bullet won't miss." Well, the president not commenting on that is indeed speaking out as it relates to Iran and the possible additional killings, I should say, of thousands of people that were just protesting. And there's a possibility that they may be hanged. And the president says, should Iran go forward with that, they have a big problem.
Now we're hearing that they're going to start hanging protesters tomorrow. So it comes back to the question, have they crossed your red line, or has the line moved?
I haven't heard about the hanging. If they hang them, you're going to see some things that I don't know what where you come from and what your thought process is, but you'll perhaps be very happy.
What do you mean by that?
We will take very strong action. If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
And this strong action you're talking about, what's the end game?
The end game is to win. I like winning.
How do you define that in Iran?
Well, let's define it in Venezuela. Let's define it with al-Baghdadi. He was wiped out. Let's define it with Soleimani. And let's define it in Iran, where he wiped out their Iran nuclear threat in a period of about 15 minutes once the B-2s got there. And that was a complete obliteration, as it turns out, which is what I said initially. Then some questioned it, and they said, Trump was right. So we've been right about everything. We don't want to see what's happening in Iran happen. And, if they want to have protests, that's one thing. When they start killing thousands of people, and now you're telling me about hanging, we'll see how that works out for them. It's not going to work out good.
Well, there you have it, the president. It's not going to work out good. Folks, I can't wait. I can't wait until I would assume an investigation is underway, until the investigation is complete into Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and she's led out in handcuffs. I want you to listen to this. How she keeps interrupting this reporter and insulting her. This is a member of Congress acting like a complete fool.
Congresswoman, Republicans have repeatedly stated that you committed immigration fraud. Are you at all worried about a formal investigation that could perhaps lead to your deportation?
Well, you're one of those people.
I don't know what that means, but are you at all concerned?
Do I look concerned?
I guess not.
Okay.
All right. What about the Minnesota fraud hearing? You didn't show up for that. Do you think you should have?
Why should I have?
Well, it happened in your state. Don't you want to defend your position?
There were people from my state that were there.
Okay, but why not you? I mean, there's allegations that you're complicit in the fraud. Wouldn't you want to show up?
Why would there be an allegation that I'm complicit? How would I be complicit?
Well, what about Tim Walsh?
Do you just ask stupid questions? Is this your thing?
I'm curious to get your thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of controversy around the issue. $9 billion in fraud in the state of Minnesota.
$9 billion?
You don't think so?
Really?
Yeah, and counting. Probably more, honestly. You think that's fake news or what?
That is more than half of the resources that are allocated.
Okay.
So you genuinely, your brain has told you that it is possible for half of the resources.
I'm just going off of what
for our public service to half disappear is what you're saying.
Countless Minnesota state representatives, whistleblowers have come forward.
Listen to yourself, though.
I'm
just think about that for a second.
Maybe if you showed up at the hearing, you would know that whistleblowers are being retaliated against for exposing the fraud. Why is that? Why are they being tracked and traced?
Think about what you're asking.
Does this sound like a woman that came here in need of assistance from Somalia and is grateful for what America did for her? Absolutely not. But here's the good news as far as these protesters, these soccer moms, these hippies, whatever term you want to use towards them. Border Czar Tom Homan announcing ICE may publicly begin shaming these left-wing agitators on national television for interfering with immigration enforcement.
The agitators, what have they accomplished? They've accomplished nothing. We're still doing our job. We're out there last night. We're out there today. We're going to be out there every day. And we're adding more resources, more law enforcement officers to that city. And one of the parts of that increase in officers to that city is to arrest the people who cross that line, people who violate 18 U.S.C. 111, interference, impeding, assaulting. We're going to have a team of people there who's going to concentrate on that. So we're going to continue arresting those agitators, and I'm pushing hard. Let's post agitators on TV. Let's announce every day who's been arrested for interfering and impeding with our officers. Look, this is a dangerous job. It's always has been a dangerous job. I've done this for a long time. But the hateful rhetoric from people like the mayor and the governor and members of Congress, I said back in March, Harris, I think it was on your show, if the hateful rhetoric doesn't decrease, there's going to be bloodshed. Right. And unfortunately, I was right. And I'm telling you here today, it's not over. Now the rhetoric is even tripled. Now they're saying they're murderers. They went beyond Nazis and secret police. Now they're saying he's murdering people. Death threats against me alone have tripled. I mean, I had one yesterday, which is a little different. They don't want to kill me. They want to kill my family.
And that is despicable. Dominic Carter here with you. Time for a break. We see all of your telephone calls. 800-848-9222.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back, starting with your telephone calls. Line 1, Dino in Queens. Dino, what's on your mind?
How are you, Dominic? I honestly think about Elon. Not good?
I said I'm good. Go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I believe Elon Omar will be the first in handcuffs. 100%. I have that feeling that that's what it's going to be. And how she answered that lady, I don't know her name. She was asking her questions, and she says to the lady, "Is that what your brain is telling you?" No, the lady's not going according to what her brain is telling her. She's going according to what they dug up, what they found. She said, did you hear what she said? Is that what your brain is? She couldn't even speak. She can't speak. She's caught up within herself. And when you're honest, you know how to speak correctly. When you're not, you can't do that. Am I right or am I wrong, Dominic?
You're right, but even worse than that, the arrogance to talk to someone that way when you came here as a refugee from Somalia, and this country took you in, fed you, put a roof over your head, made it possible for you to live, and you're now this arrogant a few years later because you're a member of Congress. You have the final word.
Yes, I believe, like I said, I believe she's out. She's going out. God's big, and let me tell you, this is what we believe in. Okay, we don't believe in the Quran. We believe in the United States, and God bless America. That's what we believe in. And she doesn't, but her way of talking, like you said, her arrogance, she's on the way out. And I want to call you back when that happens.
And fair enough, Dino, because it can't happen fast enough. Thank you for the great call. Let's go to line 2. Bill in Georgia. Bill, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. Hi, Dom. I just got a quick question. How come in other countries you see videos, people protesting and the government will pull out like these fake trucks with the water cannons? How come we don't do that here in the U.S.?
Because of the rules that we have, because of that stems from the Constitution and the rules that we have in this country in terms of also free speech. I mean, that's pretty easy, Bill. These other countries don't have the same standards, don't have the same rules that the United States has.
Yeah, but if instead of having guys on the streets with guns or this and that, wouldn't it be just better, like just blast them with water?
This is not the 1960s, Bill. I agree with the idea. The premise is a good one, but you can't do that. You can't do that. Folks have a First Amendment right to protest, and you can't blast them with water, via the fire departments. That takes us back down ugly history of the United States. You just can't do things like that. But thank you very much for the call. Let's go to Marco in New Jersey, line 1. Marco, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I want to complain about Ilhan Omar, but then you got a president that gives the middle finger, and then the guy is suspended because he yelled something out. Come on, you make no sense, man. You got no morals. You're
okay,
lost,
Marco, you call up all the time. You're the absolute worst Trump hater. What is your problem?
I was a Trump supporter in 2016. I voted for him. But, man, have I changed my mind. I'm a Republican, but I'm not a MAGA like you. I'm not MAGA Republican. I'm a Republican. But the worst are the MAGAs. They're the worst. Racist.
Oh, the MAGA Republicans are racist, huh? I've never heard you say a single nice thing about this president. Why is that?
There's nothing good to say about him.
Dominic is done with you.
Take that, Mr. Marco. It is time for a break, folks. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Are back. 800-848-9222. Now, this woman said this in jest on social media, but it's so true as it relates primarily right now to the Somalian community in Maine and Minnesota. This is a woman on Instagram.
Oh no, I just found out. Temporary protected status for all those Somalis who are being discriminated against in Minnesota. Yeah, y'all got to wrap it up. Y'all got to go. March. Trump gave y'all by March. Out of the country. Bye.
And there you go. Bye-bye. You're the weakest link. Mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis. And we're going back to your telephone calls in a second. We're going to go to Judith in Brooklyn, Jim in Astoria, amongst other calls as your calls are coming in, 800-848-9222. So Mayor Fry appeared on television. And folks, as we all know, it is a federal crime to interfere with ICE, with federal agents And listen to this tap dance from the mayor.
You're seeing it in real time. You are aware that 18 U.S. Code 111 makes it a federal crime to impede, interfere, or even assault officers. And we see the protesters crossing a line of protesting, throwing rocks, hitting cars, and interfering in the federal government's view of their operation of carrying out federal immigration law enforcement.
Look, we have had perhaps tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting in the streets. And at the same time, yeah, they are going to stand up for their neighbors. And
so let's go back to your telephone calls here. Let's go to Judith, line 1 in Brooklyn. Judith, what's on your mind, young lady?
Hi, Dominic. I had to call because Marco kind of triggered me. So typical, can't point out even one thing wrong that President Trump has done. Always there. This is typical of him. Always generalities, never specific. But Marco, guess what? I got news for you. The illegal invasion is at a standstill. Gas prices are so low and getting lower. The crime, if it's gone down, is due to President Trump. Guess what? Because he threw out like 2.5 million of these illegals, all of them that are criminals and whatever, so therefore they're out of the country. So if you see any crime lowering, if the crime is lowered, that's due to President Trump, not to these Democratic politicians. Okay, it's due to Holman and the ICE agents that are doing a fabulous job. Okay, and they should be commended and honored and respected.
I agree with you 1,000%, Judith. At this point, I guess I would just say and let the church say amen, because everything you just said is accurate. How does this all play out in your opinion, Judith? Before I go on to Jim, hey, you know what, Judith? Because I don't like dealing. You still with me?
I am with you. Yes.
Okay, good. I want to bring in Russ in White Plains. I want you to stay with me. Russ, you're on live with Judith. Russ, what's on your mind today?
Thank you very much. And I'd like to ask Judith, do you think when Miss Good backed up, she was backing up to run him over? And do you think they released Johnny Ross's video because they wanted to show the lesbian pal disrespecting? And in this country, disrespect is a death sentence, isn't it, Judith? Obey or die, right?
Not quite. What do you mean? Obey and live. How's that? Obey and live.
Agreed.
Had she not
agreed.
Obey or die, Judith. And what Marco was asked is there anything?
Well, let's let her finish now, Russ. You had your chance to set up your opening statement. Let's let Judith respond. Go ahead, Judith.
And Russ, guess what? That agent is now bleeding internally, so something really did happen. She's a stupid fool. I'm sorry to say. And she would be alive today if not for the fact that she put the metal to the pedal, and she's stupid enough to go forward. And this agent did not expect any. You know it, Russell, okay? And so it's just like, what should I tell you? He was right. She was wrong. I'm very sorry. That's the way it is. What do you say, Russell?
Judith, he got bruised. And Judith, if he had shot that dog, you and Dominic would be a lot more upset, wouldn't you?
What? If he shot the dog? What dog?
The gun thug shot the dog. And Judith, do you think the Proud Boys and the J6ers are working for ICE now? Where do you think they went?
Oh, Russell, you're all over the map.
Russ. Go ahead, Judith, and respond. Go ahead. Thank you, Russ, for the call.
Russell, you're all over the map, but I still like you a lot. I really do. He's so provocative, but he's so good. I like him. I like Russell. I really do.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I think he was trying to get under your skin there.
Skin. No, because you know what? The truth stands. Okay, the truth stands. That's the way it is. And there's only, there's no right or wrong. There's right and there's wrong. There's no right or whatever. The truth is the truth, and that's it. And we stand for the truth. That's it, right?
Absolutely, Judith. Thank you for the wonderful call. Let's go to line 2. Jim in New York. Jim, what part of New York are you in?
I'm in upstate New York, Dominic. Catskills, just east of Binghamton.
Okay.
What your original topic that you brought up about Iran crossing the red line with President Trump and that threat on their TV? There is intelligence reports that there's Iranian hit squads in the United States. I know President Trump is well protected. That's part A. But part B is these mullahs belong to an apocalyptic sect of Islam, where they think if they could bring on the end of the world, they'll bring the 12th Imam out of the well, and the whole world will be under Islamic law. So if they think this is it for them, there are missing nukes in the world. When Ukraine gave up their nukes, there's nukes that aren't accounted for. Also, Iran was, they're buddy-buddy with North Korea, China, Russia. I don't think China or Russia would do it. They're not that stupid. North Korea might. But there could be a nuke in this country, too. You know what I mean? It sounds, extraordinary, but there's ways they could sneak them in. I'm not going to say it over the radio, but there's definitely ways they could sneak a nuke into this country. That might be a bigger threat than we think. We think the mullahs just spout a lot of rhetoric, but they're going all in right now. You don't know, we have to be on high alert for that.
Fair enough, Jim. Thank you for the call. Let's now go to Steve, line 3 in Westchester. Steve, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, have you ever come across a more self-righteous, self-absorbed politician than Ilhan Omar? I mean, the more she talks and the more condescending she gets, the more I believe all these stories are true about her being complicit with the fraud.
I agree with you, Steve. I agree with you.
I mean, if God willing, we retain the House, she may self-deport herself.
Well, no, she's too arrogant for that. But she's going to be shown the door one way or the other. I don't just want her to be shown the door. I want her perp-walked in handcuffs. Steve, you have the last word before I move on to Patricia in Brooklyn.
Well, we all would be very lucky and grateful if that were to happen.
Indeed. Steve, thank you for the great call. Line 4, Patricia in Brooklyn. Patricia, what's on your mind?
Dear Dominic, I love you so much. Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
You're right. We have probably the best president ever. This business with Iran, who knows what he's thinking of tonight? Trust me. I trust him. I trust you. I don't trust the New York Times, that's for sure. And I don't trust 2, 4, and 7, and 9. Nonsense. This man is not going to take this nonsense with Iran. Not sitting down. And I give you credit from the bottom of my heart. You tell us the truth.
And we strive to do exactly that each and every day. Patricia, before I let you go and go on to Rhonda, how do you think the situation plays out in Minneapolis with the ICE agent and Renee Good?
I think the ICE agents are doing their job. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's like going after everybody. Do people not want laws? You got to have something. You can't just act like an animal. You can't just.
I couldn't have said it better. You're so correct. I couldn't have said it better. And that's what the left is telling people these days, that you can go and do whatever you feel like doing, and it's outrageous. Thank you for the wonderful call. Let's go to Rhonda in New Jersey. Rhonda, what's on your mind?
Yes, I've been very distressed, Dominic. I am for ICE 100%. 2 questions. This woman, Renee Good, took her dog with her. Did she plan on killing an ICE officer if she took her dog? Her dog could have died. And as an animal rights activist, I'm devastated that she put her dog through this ordeal. And number 2, could they have used rubber bullets or shot for the wheels of the car instead of killing her? Was there another method to neutralize Renee Good? Because I had worked many years ago with the feds. Was there any other way to exit this situation where she would not have died?
Let's look at this for a second. You said rubber bullets, right?
Yes.
What were rubber bullets going to do?
I thought it would neutralize her. It would just stop the car, or a stun gun.
Wait. Let's backtrack. You said neutralize her, right? Neutralize her in what way? Tell me exactly what, without using the word neutralize, what do you mean?
Stop it. Freeze her. Like a dermatologist.
So how is a rubber bullet going to stop her? That's what I'm confused at.
used a bullet, not a lethal bullet, she might have stopped, or they might have just deactivated
Well,
the situation.
let's look. So, Rhonda, let's look at what you just said, right? Let's logically, and I can tell you're a reasonable person. So she was fatally shot, right? We can agree on that, correct?
Yes.
Did the car stop, or did the car continue speeding and crash into another car?
It continued speeding.
So, in other words, a rubber bullet would not have been as much of an impact, and if the car was going to go forward, it would have killed the agent. There's no way around that. So, and to shoot at her tire, what was that going to do?
It might have immobilized her and avoided this tragedy. She has an orphan son. You know, with all of this, it's terrible. I'm 100% behind Ice. But the boy is...
Rhonda, there is nothing this agent... let's say he successfully hit the tire. Let's say, for argument's sake. The car still would have crushed.
It still would have crushed him.
The problem is he didn't know in what direction the vehicle was going to go.
Understand?
Therein lies the problem.
The ICE could just use another method just to stop these protesters without death, because now there's a boy involved and no mother and no father. It's tragedy. It was either her or
Rhonda,
the ICE agent.
let me respectfully ask you this question. Whose fault is that the child is left an orphan or whatever? Whose fault is that?
It's just a tragedy. It was her fault that she didn't...
It's no one's fault except for the driver of that vehicle and her wife. They have to own this. They were the ones, and thank you for the call, they were the ones going around harassing ICE all day long, and unfortunately, this happened. But to say using a rubber bullet would have led to that agent being killed. Again, if that vehicle was heading in his direction, he used a regular bullet. And you see what happened, I guess because her foot was on the gas pedal, the vehicle sped up, veered left, and crashed into a parked car. Once she decided, with the coaching of her wife, to make this a deadly encounter, it is what it is. It is what it is. Jada in Peekskill, I'm going to go to you in just a moment, Jada, but I got to take a break, so please do me a favor, Jada, and stay with us. We see all of your calls. John, Jerry, Vinny, Al, many more. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to Jada in Peekskill. Stay with us.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network. And now, it's time for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Final Thoughts.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Final Thoughts of the day, I find it very interesting that the father of the woman that was shot and killed in Minneapolis, Renee Good, that he's not blaming the agent. That should tell you all that you need to know. This is an open and shut case. It's a tragic situation, and frankly, it is tragic as it relates to the agent. Yes, a loss of life. I mentioned Jada in Peekskill, line 1. Jada, what's on your mind?
I like to know, it's 15,000 nurses that's on strike from 3 to 5 different hospitals, and they worry about their pay, their health insurance, and their security, and they're not worrying about the patients. And some of them is getting overpaid, and also they found 3 nurses that were stealing supplies from the prenatal care.
Okay, so Jada, I got it. What's the point you're trying to make?
And also,
Jada, I have a lot of calls. What is the point that you're trying to make?
I'm trying to say why they not taking care of their patients. They seem like they're more concerned about their well-being.
Well, Jada,
And-
isn't
and
it
that-
human nature? I mean, come on, we have to be fair. Isn't it human nature where everybody's going to be concerned about their salary, their pay, how they're going to feed their family? I wish I had more time to deal with this. I got to move on. Thank you for the call. Let's go to line 4, Vinny in Massapequa. Vinny, what's on your mind?
Yeah, this is about the ICE agent thing. The only point of view that's really relevant is the officer's point of view. We're suffering from an overabundance of information. This whole shooting really took place in only a split second, yet we've
You're
all
correct.
had time to look at multiple angles. We get to see she turned her wheel, all this kind of stuff. All the officer heard was get out of the car, her back up, her spin her wheels in his direction in a fraction of a second. With that information, it's clear he was justified. He couldn't all this other stuff that we've agonized over and said, this could, if he really did this and he knew this and he knew this, he wouldn't have to do it. He didn't have that information. He was going to get run over or not, but she moved. It shouldn't have happened. It's horrible, but it wasn't the officer's fault.
It's not the officer's fault. There's no one to blame but herself and her wife. Drive, baby, drive. Thank you for the call, Vinny. Let's go to line 5, Al in New Jersey. Al, what's on your mind?
Well, they just came out a little while ago, Fox News, I believe it was, that the officer suffered internal bleeding from being struck by the...
Right, we mentioned at the top of the show. What's your point, Al?
Okay. Well, the point is this. Why is everybody complaining about the officer shooting this person? I mean, he had no other choice. His life was in danger. That mere fact that he was hit, I mean, it's not even an argument.
I agree with you, but there are those that no matter what you say to them, they're going to see just the opposite. Like everything else when it comes to politics in our country. One side sees this, the other side sees that. There are some that still deny that he was hit by the vehicle. And anybody that's reasonable that looked at the vehicle, looked at the video, could see that he was hit by this vehicle. Thank you, Al, for the call. Rose, line 1, Long Island. Rose, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I just want to say you just made my point. People are going to see what they want to see depending on their ideology. But I also would like to say that whether the state's a blue state or red state, I can guarantee you that if ICE was out there and like, say, for example, Times Square, and they saw a cop being hit or drop kicked in the head, they would intervene. They would help that cop because they're professional, sworn law enforcement agency, and they're not wired to turn the other way. So these mayors and the governors are nothing but a disgrace. I am so offended by them. That's it. That's my point.
Yeah, and I agree with you. From the governor of Minnesota to the mayor of Minneapolis, Mayor Fry, Jacob Fry, this guy is an absolute piece of work. And we've got to support law enforcement in this country. If we don't support law enforcement, then what's the alternative? What's going to keep things normal? To all of you that are holding on, we do apologize that we don't have the time right now to get to your calls, but I am coming back live at midnight. And folks, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact by donating your car or land. Go to T2T.org.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here? Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to The Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.